In our little town so serene, where the grass is green, the air so clean, we gather round the table every night. Joyful days, oh once I yet, with values passed, with generations past, living life with love that surely lasts. As the city lights look bright, we hold to our roots tight, in our hearts the same fires, guided by the good old days. Sharing moments with friends always divine, working hard for what we seek, respecting each word we speak, holding dear to our family ties underneath these nostalgic skies. As the city lights so bright got you tight, in our hearts the same old fire. Oh yeah, we sway with every change of time, but in our hearts old love and soul, that may be in our heart, getting like a thought ain't not in this fast-paced world we can fight. Traditions keep our hearts going wild, but you'll find in our hearts simple ways, we got it by the good old
days. We stand firm in our belief.
Hold tight.
Through the times clearer we can see, crazy world spinning round.
Stay grounded.
In our hearts simple truths agree, whisper of freedom and liberty
Rings true.
Our foundation strong and deep, holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow. In the story we've built for trust and
Never doubt.
time flies but we won't bend. Communists talk loud and fast,
Stay solid.
our quiet strength is our reply. So salute to change but pause,
Reflect.
in unity our dearest friend, holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow. In shadows we find our light, through chaos we stay upright.
Stay
With courage, faith on our side,
forever.
standing firm our guide, holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow.
In the heart of the jungle there's a whisper. John Birch, a soldier, takes the lead. With a spirit so brave he conquers darkness. On his mission hear the call, take heed. Through the shadows red wild winds tale he tells. Through the thousand hills where the rivers cross, he fights for the ones who weather the shells. With every step he dances with pain, unraveling tales that forever await. John in the heart of the wild, John on a journey so styled, John in the heart of the wild. Through the battles, through the night, he carries a flame, a guiding light, for every soul that's searching for peace in his heart. May the sorrow cease. John in the heart of the wild, John on a journey so styled, John in the heart of the
This is what we hold, values that keep us grounded still. Stand up for what is right, don't let the world make your will. Freedom and balance, it's here to stay. So let's embrace this life our way. Tradition calls, if you don't stand firmly, hold it tight. If you let go of the reins, you'll miss your connection. So share a smile today in this community that we build. With love and respect, that's how our hearts can fill. We carry forward, we know our truth. In this great land, it's our time to move. If you want to stand firm, you'll lay in new direction. Hold it tight. If you let go of the reins, you'll miss your connection. Let's hold on to our dreams and cherish every moment. With values exactly us in them, we find our hope. Tradition calls. If you don't stand firm in your lane, you lose your direction. Hold it tight. If you let go of the reins, you'll miss your connection.
Times are changing, feel the buzzing, staying true when they're fussing. Keep the flag a-flying through stormy nights. With the star-spangled banner, I stand tall with manners. Cross my heart with hope in sight. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie, with liberty. Stick to values in the trends. Families gather, let's defend. Hold the line, keep the bond alive. Truth in our vision, in God we make decisions. For our dream, true, thrive and strive. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie, with liberty. We'll keep fighting for what's right, standing strong in the night. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and bravery, with liberty. You know I'm standing firm while the world keeps a turning, trying to shake my freedom, but I ain't gonna frown. But darling, darling, hold your goblin hand. All you both can dictate, but I'm learning to stand with the spirit of the wild. Yeah, I'm ready to fight. I know my spanking soul. I got my eyes open. Baby, I can't sway. I'm fighting for the rights, and call me the free range mind. Never gonna waver. I'm a rebel with a cause. While others search for safety, I'll be raising my voice. Honey, I got my dreams and live without my woes. I'll be living for tomorrow. Let the whole world know. Cause freedom not a game, it's a rhythm in my soul. Reaching for the stars, yeah, that's how I roll. Baby, I can't sway. I'm fighting for my rights, and call me the free range mind. We got a fire burning, and it won't be tamed. With every stride and stride I take, I'll always proclaim. Stand tall, stand proud, let the people know my name. In the night we rise, in the morning the same. Baby, I can't sway. I'm fighting for my rights, and call me the free range mind.
Welcome to today's episode of Culture-Rama, and today is Tuesday, June 24th, and I am so glad to be with all of you here today. I know I was gone over the weekend and since last Thursday as well, because that's when I usually stream, but I am back. For those that know, you know, I was in Los Angeles last weekend, and I was traveling to be on Jubilee. Yes, the Surrounded episode. So that next Surrounded episode that may be coming out, I will be in. But thank you everyone that has wished me many good wishes and prayers and good thoughts. But it's over. I'm back, and we are back to a regularly scheduled show here, everyone. And I missed quite a bit since last time I streamed. Of course, we had the whole situation with the Israel versus Iran potential war. And all of us, I think, have been experiencing a bit of backlash. I certainly have when I was gone this weekend. I remember I was in the recording studio this last Saturday. And it was like a 5 to 6 hour shoot, probably, you know, as many such cases with these sorts of like YouTube episode things. I was on the Cut before, now it's on Jubilee. It usually takes around 5 to 6 hours a shoot. And as soon as they exit, because we weren't allowed to have access to our phones now, we are not allowed to Google anything, you know, it is a debate. So we were supposed to come in with the knowledge that we had. And then it turns out as soon as I leave the shoot, it must have been like 6 p.m. In the evening. And I open up my phone and it looks like that indeed we have struck Iran. And that was on Saturday, and I was a bit shocked. I posted a little video clip of me talking about it on social media. But the absolute whiplash we had. And then, you know, since then we had a proposed peace happen. And now apparently Israel had struck Iran again. We'll be covering that and much more moving forward. And of course, Trump's reaction to it, which I'm sure a lot of you have already seen. But those that haven't or aren't initiated to this, Trump has also swore on live television, everyone, the real president is coming out. He has been proposed for a Nobel Peace Prize, but it looks like that has been wound back. We have a lot to cover. And on top of that, given the nature of this episode and the title of this episode and the thumbnail, as you may have seen, the Neocon Industrial Complex, I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about Israel and Iran and much more. And, of course, our Carmelo Anthony case, which is still ongoing, but he has been indicted as well. So we will touch on this and much more. So thank you, everyone that has joined me today on Culturama. It is so good to see you here. And we are back on the show. So I want to say hello to those that have joined us already. And if you haven't already, please, please, please like and share the stream, okay? Follow me on Rumble if you haven't. If you're new, if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe there. But I highly recommend doing Rumble, first and foremost, because that's where I'm most active and I engage and interact with my audience the most. If you want me to respond to a comment or maybe cover a specific news story, of course, please send in a Rumble rant, even if it's just a couple bucks, and that will go a long way in supporting the show, supporting what I do, as well as answering any of your questions within reason, of course. And, okay, so that's that spiel. Please like and share. If you're on Twitter, please retweet it as well. I just had to get that out of the way because we are trying to grow a following and, we're trying to ramp that up here today. So I want to thank everyone that has joined, including Liberty Tonight show is here. Wonderful Liberty Tonight. I'm sorry to have missed your show last Thursday. I'm sure it was great. Thank you for joining. We have Fiery Waco, Bucks Nasties in the building. That's right. Let's go. Okay, we have Grizz Cheese with the Leo emoji. For those that want a Leo pillow, please join the Culturama shop. I will be showing a link to that here shortly. It is at ap4libertyshop.com. That is the letter A, the letter P, the number 4, libertyshop.com. Go to the Culturama collection and you will find yourself a beautiful Leo pillow. Okay, and for those that don't know, if we send in, hold on a second. I need to get here we go. If we send in $7, I will also be bringing the real thing here today on the stream. But that's only if you guys are good and we don't need enough money, of course. Okay, we have a new viewer, Jahanhu on Rumble. I don't know who chose the playlist, but well done. Thank you. It's mostly AI generated. But, it goes with the style of the show, so that's what we're here for. Honestly, the music is great. Thank you so much, Jahanhu. I think is how I pronounced your name, and thank you for joining Culturama today. We live in a meme life right now, writes Fiery Waco. Indeed, Fiery Waco, and that's what we're going to be talking about here today. Okay, and we already have... Hold on a second. We already have a $1 donation from Fiery Waco. Contribution to releasing the beast. Contribution to releasing the beast. We got $69 more to go, everyone. The magic number 69. If we get $69 more today, we will unleash the monster kill. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Already a strong start to the show. Let's jump into the main news story here today, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Let me pull that up without many issues. I have all these windows open, but let's jump in. I'm sure you guys have all seen this clip, okay? Classic clip. This one's going in the books. Donald Trump saying he doesn't know what the F they are doing. An F-bomb. Everyone's talking about nukes, okay? Everyone's talking about nukes and nuke truth bombs. No one's mentioned the nuke that it was the Trump F-bomb. Let's watch this one. Let me know if I have any audio issues as usual, because we always run into that in Culturama. Let's take a listen. Oh, no audio. Okay, thank you, Mr. Pig. I know there's a little bit of an issue there. There's no audio, really. Let me double check OBS here. Sorry, guys, you're gonna have to look at the background. You're gonna have to look at the background here. No audio, huh? Pump up the volume. Okay. Looks like desktop isn't even working. Every single time we have an audio issue. I thought that was just my system. No, Nelson 65, that is a Culturama system. I'll fix that here in the commercial break. I think that'll be quickly fixed here. My mistake, everyone, my mistake. OBS does this sometimes, so let me see if I could maybe, if anyone else has initiated in OBS, please let me know what I can do here to fix this. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can fix it live here. Default. Does anyone know how to use OBS? Speakers? I mean, I'll try that. We'll see. Does that work?
Don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Okay. Can you guys hear that now? Is that, I know it's a quiet clip, but can you hear that a little bit better? Let me know, please. Someone, please drop a comment. It also boosts up engagement.
Yeah, I do. They violated, but Israel violated.
Okay. Hey, I saved the stream
Israel,
live.
As soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped the load.
Okay, so this audio is a little quiet. Forgive me, everyone. We're just starting. Thank God it fixed. Every day, if you're new here, welcome to Culturama. We have audio issues at the beginning of every stream, so thank you for your patience, my fellow, my fans and Culturama viewers. But if you're new, this is sort of like a tradition. We always have audio issues. She's asking Trump here. I know the audio's a little bit softer. I'm going to find a better clip a little later here. I have one saved up. But she asks him, what does he think about Israel striking Iran? I think it was done earlier today, and this is his answer.
Yeah, I do. They violated, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen.
The likes of which they'd never seen before.
You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
There it is, everyone. He said it. He said it. I don't have a sound effect for that. She dropped the F-bomb. Apparently, this is so revolutionary. Everyone has lost their minds on social media because I suppose it's true. No president has really been caught on national television like this swearing unless it was like leaked audio. So this is quite interesting. Let's quickly read this before we go to commercial break and bring in the real news stories. Trump goes absolutely berserk on Iran and Israel as ceasefire deal crumbles. They don't know what the F they are doing. Okay, President Donald Trump issued a blunt warning to Israel on Tuesday to not bomb Iran as he departed from the NATO summit in The Hague, taking a critical position just 24 hours after brokering a fragile ceasefire already threatened after a missile strike from Iran. Speaking to reporters before takeoff, the president said that both Israel and Iran had breached the terms of the truce and had made clear that he was not pleased with Israel's promise to launch retaliatory airstrikes after agreeing to the deal. Asked by a reporter about whether Iran had violated the ceasefire, Trump simply replied, "They violated, but Israel violated it too." Okay? In a further post on Truth Social just moments later, he wrote, in all caps, in classic Trump fashion, Israel, do not drop the... I'm not going to yell to have the caps lock voice. You guys are just going to have to envision that. Israel, do not drop those bombs, period. If you do, it is a major violation, period. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen.
Monster kill.
Looks like Trump has truly embodied the beast mode spirit that we have going on here. And at least I'm trying to cultivate in Culturama with the Leo propaganda. The ceasefire agreement announced late Monday by Trump from Palm Beach was meant to phase out hostilities within 24 hours, and it seems like that isn't happening. Okay? Now, as we proceed further on this show, I will, of course, talk about the stronghold that the Neocon complex has. The Neocon industrial complex, I like to call it, has on the psyches and the minds of Americans. We truly are living in a psychic war, in an information war, and it seems like within our very own conservative movement, whether you want to call it conservative movement, Americanist movement, Republican Party, although I think it extends beyond that, there's an ideological rift that's occurring right now that's splitting apart not just worldviews or viewpoints on this matter, but generations. And the foundational elements of what the conservative movement was post-Bush era. And it looks like we're not in that time anymore. Younger people and people that are more plugged into the matrix are aware of the foreign entanglements that the United States have been involved with and are caught within and are ensnared within, and we simply don't want any part of it. And so this whiplash back and forth, and I know a lot of Trump apologists, or on the other side, Trump critics, have been going back and forth this entire weekend. It has been an absolute shit show. If you don't mind, excuse my language. I don't necessarily think this is a family show, but excuse my language. I try to keep it appropriate here. But it has been a shit show this entire weekend. No one knows what is happening. And you have these figureheads like Mark Levin or Lindsey Graham saying all these things, or Tucker Carlson on the other side. And it really is splitting people apart in their viewpoints. And that's why it's important for us to analyze, to see what the information war is, what is happening, and what direction we are going into. So please stay tuned. I will be right back from this commercial break. In the meantime, please go to our merch shop at ap4libertyshop.com. I'm going to be pulling up the next few news stories, particularly about what I just said. And we're going to launch in to this very exciting episode. Everyone, stay tuned.
Times are changing, feel the buzzing, staying true when they're fussing. Keep the flag a-flying through stormy nights. With the star-spangled banner, I stand tall with manners. Cross my heart with hope in sight. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and free, with liberty. Stick to values in the trends. Families gather, let's defend. Hold the line, keep the bond alive. Truth in our vision, in God we make decisions for our dreams.
What we hold, values that keep us grounded still. Stand up for what is right, don't let the world make your will. Freedom and It's here to stay. So let's embrace.
Watch me on Rumble, on YouTube, on Twitch, and on X this Saturday. And that will start at the same time, 5 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. Central Time. Welcome back to Culturama, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to jump into this first story here, okay? Because this is an unfolding case, and it still remains to be seen what's exactly going to happen with Iran. So let's just dive in with the live updates that we have, exclusive, okay? Early U.S. intel assessment suggests strikes on Iran did not destroy nuclear sites. This is already coming out that, in fact, the initial strike that we had done on Saturday was not actually effective. Some people have been saying, I too have proliferated the idea. Now, I'm not saying this as fact. I'm not saying I have any insider knowledge on this. I apologize if you hear police sirens outside. It's right outside my window. I'm sorry. But some people have been sharing the idea that it could be Kefauve. The U.S. announcing that they were going to do these strikes, Iran announcing another. And for those that don't know what Kefauve means, it's like a scripted fight. It's a term used in wrestling, I believe. Anyways, but I've been hearing it be used in political assessments and like in political events such as these. So whether or not it's Kefauve, I'm not going to say, or Kefauve. People pronounce it in many different ways. Kefauve. Excuse my ignorance if I'm using it incorrectly, but it is weird. It is weird how this entire situation has played out. People have said that Trump may have approached it in this way and had done the strikes initially to appease Israel. I don't know what Trump's goal is here, but it's very interesting to see it play out. Let's quickly read this. Kayfabe says Jahan Hugh. Jahan Hugh, please let me know how to pronounce your name as well. Kayfabe. Okay, Kayfabe. I'll try to keep that in mind. Kayfabe. Thank you, Natty Bloom. Welcome to the chat, Natty Bloom. Exclusive. Early U.S. intel assessment suggests strikes in Iran did not necessarily destroy nuclear sites. Okay. The U.S. military strikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities just on Saturday did not destroy core components of the country's nuclear program, and likely only set it back by months, according to an early U.S. intelligence assessment. The assessment, which has not been previously reported, was produced by the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Pentagon's intelligence arm. It is based on a battle damage assessment conducted by the U.S. Central Command in the aftermath of the U.S. strikes, one of the sources had said. The analysis of the damage of the sites and the impact of the strikes on Iran's nuclear ambitions is ongoing and could change as more intelligence becomes available. Fair enough. So again, this isn't like completely confirmed, but it is heavily understood to be the case here. 2 of the people familiar with the assessment said that Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium was not, in fact, destroyed. Is this kind of reminding people of, I hate to say it, but it kind of reminds me of pre-9/11, you guys. Okay? First they say it was there, next they say it was, or it was attacked and it was there, it was removed, next they say it wasn't. Okay, just something to keep in mind. One of the people said that the centrifuges are largely intact still. Another source said that the intelligence assessed enriched uranium was moved out of the sites prior to the U.S. strikes. So the DIA assessment is that the U.S. set them back maybe a few months tops. The White House acknowledged the existence of the assessment, but said they disagreed with it. Okay, so there's a little bit of a disagreement going on there, at least with our officials. White House Press Secretary Karen Leavitt told CNN in a statement, quote, "This alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified as a top secret and was leaked to CNN by an anonymous, low-level loser in the intelligence community. The leaking of this assessment is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program." Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14, 30,000 pound bombs perfectly on their targets. Total obliteration. She continues, the U.S. military has said that the operation went as planned and that it was a, quote, overwhelming success. So, let's read I'm going to read the Israeli assessment here next. The Israeli assessment of the impact of the U.S. strikes also found less damage on Fordo than expected. However, Israeli officials believe that the combination of the U.S. and Israeli military action on multiple nuclear sites set back the Iranian nuclear program by 2 years. So there's, contending assessments of what's happening here. Now, everyone has their own agenda. Obviously, everyone has their own agenda here. Iran has one direction, the U.S. has another, and of course, Israel has their direction. And I firmly believe that all three nations, whether or not, Israel is our ally, yes. But whether or not you want to speculate on how involved we are with Israel on this, I firmly do believe that it is in President Trump's interest. I'm just gonna speculate right here, live, unfiltered. He cares about his reputation. He cares about his legacy. He wants to confirm that peace will be settled within that region. And I think he's coming to understand that it is very difficult to do so in that region, considering the two key players are involved here. The two key players do not want peace. I think he's finally understanding that, and I think that he's starting to kind of snap, if you can call it snap. His inner New Yorker came out and said what he said this morning at 7 a.m., live on television to the reporter. Because I think I think he tried to keep his, he tried to save face throughout the weekend. He knew this would be a very contentious endeavor. And I think it's coming into fruition, seeing that he actually is not in control of the situation. And he never was. Israel will continue to do what Israel does, and Iran will continue to do what Iran wants to do. Now, I don't know whether or not that the strikes, I don't know if it set back Iran 2 years, 2 months, not at all, 10 years. I don't know, of course. I'm not going to, by the way, I'm not a foreign policy expert, you guys. Yes, I have a political science degree, but that's like dimes and nickels these days. That means nothing in this entire situation. I'm just speaking from the heart and from the mind and what I see here. So I'm not going to say what's happening. What I can, with utmost clarity, but what I can say and what I do have is a common sense of the situation. And what I think is happening here is that Donald Trump has lost his cool a little bit, seeing the direction of where this is going and how little involvement Israel is considering his place in this trifecta. And I think that kind of pissed him off a little bit. I don't know. I'm speculating here. Look at this beautiful car. My goodness, this wonderful ad. The U.S. and Israel are allies against Iran, but maybe not in the entire region. Welcome, White You White, to the chat. First president since JFK to publicly scold God's all-stars. They are never forget and slight. I've heard that an MTG made a post like that, and I'll be covering that here later on. But first, I want to get the preliminaries out of the way and the main news. Iran declares victory as ceasefire forces Israel's retreat. Kind of want to quickly skim this. Please like and share the stream if you guys may. As we proceed forward, Iran outlines its post-ceasefire strategy, reaffirms regional alliances, and pledges to advance its peaceful nuclear program despite recent attacks and foreign pressure. Let's see how Iran is responding. The Iranian Supreme National Security Council announced on Tuesday today that the Islamic Republic has achieved a significant strategic victory, asserting that it had forced enemies to seek a ceasefire. Citing the unity of the Iranian people, the steadfastness of its armed forces, and the guidance of its leadership, the council emphasized that Iran had triumphed in the face of Israeli aggression. It noted that Iran's military remains on high alert and prepared to respond decisively to any future provocation. The council underscored that through its vigilance, Iran's calculated timing dismantled the enemy's core strategy. According to Fars news agency, the council declared that the outcome compelled the Israeli entity to accept defeat and halt its aggression. So, ads surely work on chicks. Very true, Whitey White. And if there are any chicks watching here today, please, if you are susceptible to ads, we do have very nice pillows in the shop, soon to be sold out. So please buy while you may. So clearly, everyone's coming in here with their own agenda and their own coverage of this entire situation unfolding. What I'm gonna say is for all of us listening here today, okay? And you can take it from me, you can just take it from yourselves, but do not believe anything, at least right now. Do not believe anything. Okay, there is an active information war happening, and it's happening on. We all know this. Okay, the propaganda just runs through very, very strongly. But do not, even President Donald Trump. There's no one here that we must believe, because clearly they are spinning circles around us for a reason. And it is to spin confusion and chaos and to make us think that we are going to be flung into a war and may even have a draft going on because we will be involved in all these other intercepting foreign activities. And then they want us to lean back into comfort and perceived stability. But there's no stability, and there never has been stability, regardless of who the president is. And that's becoming more and more clear. And it hasn't been until this dilemma, until I realized the psyops and the psychological operations that are happening against us every day, and how limited information we truly have about all this. Again, everyone, think back to 9/11. Think back to the events preceding 9/11 and the information we had to rely on before all of that happened and came to fruition, okay? The rule is to wait 3 days after Trump says or does something before you can form an opinion on it. Beautifully said, Whitey White. That's probably accurate. And then last, I do want to touch this before we get to the fun stuff, okay? I will be talking about the Neocons. I will be talking about the Lindsey Grahams, the Mark Levins, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Tucker Carlsons. Don't you guys worry, okay? I will be talking about the Laura Loomers. The, who else? Oh, man, I know there's one more I'm missing. Who have been the biggest neocons in this entire situation? We had Lindsey Graham, we had Mark Levin. Who was the other one? There's a third one. Ben Shapiro. I need a sound effect for Ben Shapiro on here. I need to really... The problem is I only have a certain amount of sound effects I can use. And I've really grown used to the ones I have, but I might have to change it up because there's only so many times I can use the FBI one. FBI, open up! I have Italian, I have Mexican, I have the clown one. But that's growing old, so if you guys have any ideas for sound effects, please let me know. Ben Shapiro would be funny, but... Fears over Iran's missing 400 kilograms of uranium. Satellite images show. What is this? Hold on a second. We have... We have $5 from Entropy Nomad. Thank you so much, Entropy, for donating to the Culturama cult. You are very much accepted. Thank you, thank you. You wrote, Danielle is growing up before our very eyes. Indeed, I am. Many events are thrusting me into maturation as we speak. Thank you so much, Entropy Nomad. It is very appreciated. And that reaches us closer to the Leo goal.
Monster kill.
Guys who are deprived of the beast and the creature for over the weekend. So please donate your money so we can get him in here.
Monster kill.
All right, let's continue. might be too spicy with sound effect. Yeah, maybe. I'll think about that one. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, it was free earlier today. I guess we can't read this article, ladies and gentlemen. Can I sign in with my Google? Seven days free. You guys, do you know how many monies I lost subscribing to newsletters for the free trial and then forgetting? Too much. I lost too much money doing this. I probably shouldn't even do this. Never mind. That's the wrong sound effect. And a furious rant. Fox News host denounces MAGA star. What could this possibly mean? Okay. Let's quickly skim this, but I already have all this saved up here. Let me open up the tweets here. This is going to be real fun. Okay. How many of you like Mark Levin? I never liked the guy. I remember I listened to him, when I was like 19, maybe, I first got involved with 10 years ago. I got involved with my local Republican Party. I would listen to the radio sometimes. I heard a few of his takes, never appealed to me. I'm not in that demographic, so I can't say I know a lot about Mark Levin. I'm aware of him. I have some of his books, not back here, but I have a few of his books. I was more of a Rush Limbaugh person. May his soul rest in peace. May peace be upon him. I was more of a Rush Limbaugh gal. So Mark Levin, not really my taste. He seems like he was had this Daily Wire feel to him, like Michael Knowles. I feel like he's more the older Michael Knowles. If maybe, I don't know, maybe you guys would disagree with that analysis. But anyways, never cared for him. I don't dislike him. I don't like him. I don't know too many of his takes. I learned the most about him this last week. And when I had done a little bit more research on him, I grew fairly aware of what he is embodying in this entire international spectacle. And clearly, what I want to term here today with you tonight is the Neocon industrial complex. And it is coming to pass that a lot of the newer conservative generation, even some of the Gen Xers, even, I think, that are used to listening to Mark Levin. I think he's more of a boomer demographic type guy, but I know some Gen Xers listen to him. I know some Gen Xers listen to me here today as well. Welcome, everyone. I love the Gen X people. But he does not appeal to the younger demographic, and I want you to consider why. What could it be that Mark Levin is pushing that for some reason generations of Americans are just tired of hearing? Is it perhaps this pro-war narrative that we have been promised over and over and over again? That we have been promised would be eliminated by the various people that have ran for president for so many years. Up until we have a self-proclaimed American first president for the first time in a long time, and we're still getting involved in these situations. My childhood was Rush Limbaugh theme song. Yes. I have his books too. I liked say what you want about Rush Limbaugh. I mean, he was kind of like spicy and very inflammatory, but he was pretty funny. I guess, I don't know. I liked Limbaugh. I really liked InfoWars and Alex Jones a lot. I still like Alex Jones. That would probably be my top contender next to Limbaugh when he was still alive, and now I like Alex. I've always listened to Alex. I've listened to Alex since I was 17 years old. But anyways, what other talking head do I like a lot? I mean, I know all the talking heads. The thing is, I will listen to Charlie Kirk a little bit, I know, but I will listen to him sometimes. I will sometimes listen to Crowder. Failed comedians, I mean, Crowder can be sometimes funny, but lately Crowder's takes have really, but he's like pro Convention of States, and he's kind of turned me off, you know what I mean? I used to listen to Sean Hannity quite a bit, actually. Don't really care for him. Oh, Tucker Carlson. I used to like Tucker Carlson, but I stopped listening to him. The thing is, I stopped watching television since since COVID, and I just didn't really watch him all that much. And now he has his own show, and I just recently started listening to him again, especially with the Ted Cruz interview. But Tucker is funny. He's sort of entertaining. I don't really care for his style. I don't know how to describe it. It's like this, his gravitas or his vibe. I don't really know how to describe it. I just don't care for it. But I've always loved Alex Jones. He's like the guy I will go to. I won't get into streamers because that's a whole other thing. Does a Limbaugh girl mean you get addicted to prescription painkillers? Not that I know of at this juncture, Fiery Waco. Yes, Jehan Hugh. The manic laughing style, it's just something about the Tucker Carlson laugh that sort of like, I think it's like a fight or flight situation with me. It's kind of makes me a little bit, I don't know. I just smeared my lipstick all over the microphone like a moron. Okay. You guys can't see it, but this microphone is all red with lipstick every Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday sometimes. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting sidetracked. Let's read this. Fox News host Mark Levin did not hold back words. This is a neocon industrial complex coming into crashing down. In a post on X today, we'll read this post. Here it is about Steve Bannon. Levin ripped MAGA loyalist Steve Bannon after he criticized the conservative pundit for supporting the U.S. involvement in the conflict between Israel and Iran. The ally of Donald Trump during an episode of his Bannon's War Room. I have a Telegram channel called the Daniela War Room. No self-promo. I was just throwing that out there. If you want to join it, it's in my link tree, I think. Maybe I've taken it off. I'll have to add it back in. I haven't been posting there for a long time. Anyways, during an episode of Bannon's War Room podcast, Levin said Levin is a part of a group of hyenas. So Steve Bannon said that Levin is a part of a group of hyenas and jackals who, quote, feed off death and destruction. Since Israel launched its first attack on Iran earlier this month, Levin has pushed for the U.S. to play a larger role against fighting Iran. Clearly, the Holden Blood Feast. For those that don't know what that means, I'm sorry. I should probably, because I know not everyone that follows me knows the memes. Is it not gonna come up here? Hold on. Yeah. Have you guys ever seen this meme before? This is like the stereotypical, and this is like the embodiment of the most sold out neocon legislator you can think of, right? Holden Blood Feast, Republican from Iowa, 118 years old. Please, God, just let us nuke Iran. Nothing else matters. I'll do anything, please. I just want to see more burning flesh one last time before I die. Respectable bipartisan. So that's sort of that's what I mean when I talk about Holden Blood Feast. It's just a meme. It just references the old boomers, pro-war, pro-foreign entanglement, pro-military industrial complex, respectable bipartisan. And no hatred towards boomers. I like boomers. I like individual boomers. I just don't like the entirety, I suppose you could say. Anyways. Okay, so Mark Levin pushing for this pro-war narrative. What Levin and these guys did in Ukraine and Fox did in Ukraine and Fox did in Ukraine. You see them cheerleading Ukraine now. Or is it where the million people dead and wounded, Bannon said during the podcast. Levin, host of his show Life, Liberty, and Levin on Fox News, responded to Bannon's critique Tuesday morning, first calling Bannon a, quote, disgusting fraud. Nobody gives, and excuse my language here, I'm going to read this verbatim. Nobody gives a shit about you, Bannon, a confessed and convicted fraudster, has to say, Levin wrote. You're a liar. You cheated. How many people at the bottom? You're a certified, disgusting fraud. And it shows every time you open your big mouth. Your big mouth. Who? Let's see here. Let's actually read this tweet verbatim because it was through Twitter. And I want to read this word for word to give you guys an overall picture of the kind of man Levin is. Okay, and I want you to really understand here that the very idea of someone pushing back, once again, of this pro-war narrative that we have been promised from our officials that they weren't going to fall for, and we are frankly disgusted by, and we don't want our own resources to be wasted for, of course. People that are just saying, look, I don't want any part of this. This has nothing to do to me. Some of these people, in fact, I dare say most of them, don't even want blood on their hands, considering how involved the United States was in the past, the horrors of what happened in the Middle East of the past. And for someone like Levin to react this harshly against someone saying just, I don't want war. It's very interesting how strong he's coming off of here. He's coming off here. Let's read the tweet word for word. Mark Levin writes, Steve Bannon, a disgusting fraud. Nobody gives a shit about what you, Bannon, a confessed and convicted fraudster, has to say. You're a liar. You cheated how many people? I can't do voice accents, or sorry, I'm not going to try to sound like a demon right now, but you cheated how many people? At bottom, you're a certified disgusting fraud, and it shows every time you open your big mouth. Hold on, I want to play a sound effect here. You opposed our great military and commander-in-chief at a time when they acted to destroy Iran's nukes. 80% of Americans backed, again, 80% of Americans backed the operation. You and your tiny cabal of lunatics gave aid and comfort to the enemy. You now prance around like you support our country rather than apologize for your outrageous disloyalty. And you stabbed the president in the back in the middle of battle, despite the fact that he pardoned your sorry ass for God knows what. You're a contemptible POS. You always will be a certified, convicted, confessed fraud who ripped off patriotic Americans. Wow. That's strong. Get an audio filter app, change your voice seamlessly. Good point, Firewaco. I should look into that. That's a really good idea, actually. Wow, very strong reaction here from Levin. What was he exactly responding to? Let's watch.
President Trump, you heard that hysterical, and we didn't make a comment. We let it all play out, and understanding that President Trump was working on this right there with the Israelis and the Persians. While he's working on it, he comes in there just like Ukraine. He's over there stirring it up in Ukraine. What did Trump tell him in Pompeo? Shut up. You better watch what you say. That was his quote in truth. Now you see the pressure on Trump, particularly the MAGA folks. Now you see the pressure on Trump. He's getting it from every direction. He's getting these guys 24/7, and Murdoch and all of them. And the donors and the corporatists and Wall Street, all of them. All of Fox, Murdoch on them nonstop. You see, he's sitting there negotiating a peace deal. Think, this is like a cockpit over. These people hate each other. Hell, they've been taking out people in Haifa, in Tel Aviv, hitting them with ballistic missiles. The Israelis have air supremacy. They've been bombing Tehran. There are people dead. A lot of people dead and a lot more people wounded. And he's working on a deal to get a ceasefire for the 12-day war. He's trying to do that, bringing his judgment and his wisdom and also the ability to do another midnight hammer, right? And what are they doing? They're going to the floor of the Senate. President Trump, I just hope you understand the great unmasking. Now you know exactly. Well, you're sitting there trying to negotiate a deal. See what he's doing. See what that little jackal's doing. Just like you're trying to get something done.
There it is. He's calling him a jackal right here.
In Ukraine, and he's stirring it up.
Here's the jackal part.
He's stirring it up.
Prepare yourselves. This is even though we read the transcripts, this is perhaps very offensive, everyone. So please hang on to your seats, unfurl your panties. But this is what got Levin to act out, crash out, as the young people are saying now.
And look at Levin calling you out on
here it comes
on Twitter. Well, you're trying to do it because they knew you were working on something. They knew that you were trying to get the guns laid down, just like in World War I. The 11th day of the 11th month, the 11th hour, right? Remember that?
Kind of weird.
These hyenas, they're jackals. They're jackals. They feed off death and destruction. What Levin and these guys did in Ukraine and Fox did in Ukraine. You see them cheerleading Ukraine now? Where is it? Where there's 1 million people dead and wounded. Where is it now?
Yeah, It's all just blood sports to them, okay? And I'm sorry to say this. I'm sorry if some people here like Levin or Lindsey Graham or whoever else is pushing this. But I want you guys to understand this loud and clear, crystal clear, is that a lot of these people that are pushing this narrative, for the most part, especially people like Levin and Graham, they're set. They don't have to go to war. They're financially set. They are, as far as we're concerned, you and I, they're the elite. And I know that they are fighting for our side, like they're conservatives. They promote constitutional values. Like, I get that. But this isn't, right now, this is an ideological war as far as it concerns this war, okay? And the United States' role in again, I keep saying the phrase foreign entanglements, but I'll say it again. The role of the United States in the foreign entanglements that we have been caught in. These people are, I would agree with them actually, they are jackals. They are the elite. It doesn't concern them one way or the other. The only thing that they are proving to themselves here are themselves. They're treating us, they're treating you, we're watching here today, like you're an extension of their endeavors. They're treating you as an expendable. They're treating you as just another wallet or just an empty vessel to promote their poisonous ideology. They don't care about your life. They don't care about your family. They don't care about your future. Because at the end of the day, all that comes to them is that it is a blood sport. And I'm sorry to say, but when you see someone promoting war, the amount of times that these people do, I can't help but think that. A resource. Thank you, Jehan Q. Exactly. You're a resource. And you look, like, I understand, like, in politics and business, in any field, in business, in any field except public, public service, like bureaucratic jobs shouldn't be this way. But anyways, and almost, if most, if not all industries, we're all resources one way or the other. We're all just, notes on a chart. I understand that. But when it comes to promoting ideology, you should never view people as a resource. I'm sorry. especially when war is concerned. We are having families torn apart over this, and it's frankly disgusting. I found it disgusting, and many people did as well, when Lindsey Graham came on and he wrote "Game On Twitter about this whole thing. You guys remember that? That was from last week. Lindsey Game On Graham. Ted Cruz, another one that came out of the woodwork last week about this, saying that God will bless those who bless Israel and curse those who curse Israel. Quoting a verse from the Bible, he didn't even know where it was from. Tucker knew where it was from. It was from Genesis. We looked it up on stream before they had the interview, or before the interview went out. When God was speaking to Abraham, previously Abram, about his lineage, speaking to Abraham, Ted Cruz sat there and he just threw that verse out, and he didn't even know the context of the verse. And I'm not trying to say he doesn't know his Bible, because I'm the last person. I need to read my Bible more too. Okay? I'm not dunking on him for not knowing exactly where a verse is found. But what I am dunking on him for is reiterating a story, an idea, a concept, a verse, whatever, that was spoken to by God in a context he didn't even know what it was. He didn't jump in and say, well, it was spoken to Abraham by Yahweh. No, he didn't even know the context of what he was saying. All he knew of it was that it was a talking piece. It was a talking point to get his sickening ideology out of the way. This pro-war, bloodlust, his Holden blood feast ideology.
Mersheimer's right. You're gonna yell and scream until you get down to the last Ukrainian. Now they got the young girls in Ukraine. Times got a story. People demographically is a disaster. All the young people are leaving. The mothers and fathers don't want these boys drafted, and Trump is sitting there trying to get peace. Do you understand what we said? He's trying to deport 10 million illegal alien invaders minimum here to get them out of the country and get our sovereignty back. Julie Kelly's going to report on that in a minute. Supreme Court's got his back. Suck on that, Weissman and MSNBC, Ari Melver. And he's working on a peace deal here. And then he's going to try to do something with the Russians. He's trying to stand the Chinese down. And the jackals, all the jackals want, the jackals are there for the arms makers, the arms manufacturers. Richard Barris, I'm so mad I could spit right now. When my mother said that, that's when I knew we had hit her tripwire, and it was time to tone it down, because Mom was going to make us stay on the front porch and wait for Dad to
Oh, let's finish
get
this.
home.
There we go. It just looks like we have another gift here. Quest Fanning, thank you so much for the $5. It is so appreciated. You wrote, shared to Twitter/X, not the historic Israel. Franny and I ain't going to read the whole Bible between 4th of July and Thanksgiving. It'll be my 6th lap of the Bible. Beautiful, Quest Fanning. Thank you so much for the donation. It is so appreciated. And that's so awesome that you're reading the Bible. I need to be better about that. I did read scripture. I mean, I went to Christian school. I read scripture quite frequently, actually, throughout school and a little bit into college. I haven't really, during my adult life, I'm embarrassed to say, in the last 5 years, I haven't read it as much as I need to. So, and I think all of us could benefit from it, for those of us that are Christian watching here today. And even if you're not a Christian, it still is a good piece of literature to learn from. Whether it's Old Testament or New Testament. I recommend the New Testament, especially if you aren't initiated in the miracle of the resurrection. But, I digress. Thank you so much for your $5, Quest Fanning. It is so appreciated. Thank you. And of course, in the 11 Wars, we also have this. He wrote this to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'll find the tweet of hers after the break here. We've been going on for a little while. But he wrote, MTG, God, are you stupid? And you keep banging your head against the wall. Thankfully, POTUS ignored you and hit the Iranian nuclear sites. You seem very upset about it. I'm not going away. You're on my radar. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. You guys hear that sound effect? Wait, one more time. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. I'm going to go on another quick commercial break. But before I do that, let me show you something very special, okay? So if you will, I'm actually going to go back to the Levin scene. Row House, you just sent in $20. Let me get that to you. Row House, you know what? I'm just going to respond to your donation right now, actually. We have 20 freaking dollars from Row House. Thank you so much, Row House. $20. That means we are $30 at the Unleash the Beast goal. Thank you so much for the donation, Row House. It is so appreciated. And you, Row, Mark Levin had this odd response to hearing his rhetoric would increase anti-Semitism. Daniela, let me look at this tweet you sent. Let me take a look. Oh, yes. Row House, I have a lot to say about this and more. I'm going to go on a quick commercial break, Row House. Stay tuned. We're going to continue talking about Mark Levin and the whole drama that's happening within the Neocon right and beyond. So stay tuned, everyone. I'm going to respond to Row House's tweet here, if it's in the chat, if you guys want to link to it and watch it. And we're going to have a lot more to cover as well. So please stay tuned, everyone. I shall return. And Row House, stay tuned. I will cover your link here your story here in a second. Thank you, everyone, for joining Culturama today.
Well, here comes Daniela like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah. Who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have Glad You Came Out, and I'm so happy that you're queer. in the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Hey, Liberty lovers, stop scrolling, because if you're tired of the same old news, then I've got just the wake-up call for you. I want to thank you for tuning in to Culturama, and I know that you're enjoying every minute of it. Join us at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. The Wake Up America show is Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a great way to start your day. Coffee's optional, but waking up is mandatory. Remember, at Wake Up America, we'll keep you sharp, we'll keep you laughing, most of all, we'll keep you free. I'll see you in the morning.
All right, welcome back to Culturama, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm so glad to see each and every one of you join me, even though I was gone for the last two shows. So thank you for your patience. I was out in Los Angeles just for a weekend trip, and I kind of want to talk about that as far as ICE is concerned, but before I do that and more, and talk more about the immigration front, I do want to touch on what what Rowhouse sent in the chat. And Rowhouse, I have the tweet sent in. Thank you so much for your donation. It is so appreciated, as usual. And for those of you that also like Rowhouse, if you have a story you want me to cover, or a post, or just anything within reason, of course, that it doesn't have to be on subject, but if you want me to cover something, you haven't seen me cover it or touch on it, always send in a Rumble rant, even if it's just a couple bucks or $1. I will always take a look at it if you link to it. Anyways, let me pull that up for you guys here, because I was gonna touch on this. Rowhouse beat me to it. The real drama that has unfolded earlier today. Let's. I'm gonna first read MTG's post here. Okay. Prepare yourselves. This is going to be, again, a very offensive tweet. So prepare yourselves. But I'm gonna read it here. I need, again, new sound effects. Send in sound effect suggestions. Maybe Tucker Carlson's laugh is another one I can do. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene posted this. My thoughts on bombing Iran. I don't know anyone in America who has been a victim of a crime or killed by Iran, but I know many people who have been victims of a crime committed by criminal illegal aliens, murdered by cartel and Chinese fentanyl/drugs. Almost everyone in our country can relate to this fact. However, America has not dropped bunker busters on the cartel's sophisticated drug tunnels, launched tomahawks on massive cartel poisonous drug operations, or gone to war against the cartel's international terrorist networks. Neocon warmongers, such as the individual we were just talking about, beat their drums of war and act like Billy badasses going to war in countries most Americans have never seen and can't find on a map. She's probably right about that. I know where Iran is on the map, but I don't know if most Americans know it. But never find the courage to go to war against the actual terrorists who actually do kill Americans, invade our land, and make, in all caps, billions, doing it day after day, year after year. I'm 51 years old. I'm Gen X. I watched our country go to war in foreign lands for foreign causes on behalf of foreign interests for as long as I can remember. I was in 10th grade when Desert Storm started, and my father before me was sent to Vietnam, another senseless foreign war that we just shouldn't have been in. America is $37 trillion in debt, and all of these foreign wars have cost Americans trillions and trillions of dollars that have never benefited any American. American troops have been killed and forever torn apart physically and mentally for regime change, foreign wars. I love the regime change constantly being thrown out there today. Foreign wars, and for military-industrial base profits. I'm sick of it. I can easily say I support nuclear-armed Israel's right to defend themselves, and also say the same. At the same time, I don't want to fight or fund nuclear-armed Israel wars. Nor any other country for that matter. I'm sick of funding foreign aid in foreign countries and foreign everything. I want to fund American interests and American issues. I want great trade deals so American businesses and people can afford goods, and be successful. I want low inflation and low interest rates. I want American construction, housing, and manufacturing to boom. I want Americans to be rich and have security in their future. I want my children's generation to have a great future. My kids are 22, 25, and 27. I was going to say she's my mom's age, so I'm 29, but in the ballpark. It pisses me off beyond comprehension that my children's generation can't afford to buy a house, can't afford insurance, and have little hope for their future. All true. Americans are exhausted by all of this, and rightfully so. I can also support President Trump and his great administration on many of the great things that they are doing while disagreeing on bombing Iran and getting involved in a hot war that Israel started. Exactly. That's not disloyalty. Critical thinking and having my own opinions is the most American thing ever. Because contrary to what brainwashed Democrat boomers say, Trump is not a king, MAGA is not a cult, and President Trump has surrounded himself with people who once disagreed with him and even ran against him for president. It's true. Also, the same Democrats in Congress that are full of sudden clutching their pearls about Trump bombing Iran fully supported and voted to fund dementia-ridden Biden's proxy war against Russia in Ukraine and stood by Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. It's almost done, folks. Then we'll get to the exciting part. Hypocrites is all they are, and they are just desperately trying to find solid ground to oppose Trump on because they failed at grasping anything. Now what has been done is done, and Americans now fear Iranian terrorist attacks on our soil and being dragged into another war by Netanyahu when we weren't even thinking about any of this a week ago. We don't know what the future holds, and I pray for the safety of all the people and then the constant demand for America to go to war. Enough is enough. Okay, so that was a tweet that MTG had posted. Do you guys disagree with anything here? Is this like a very contentious tweet, or is this like a very... I don't know. I just read the tweet word for word. Granted, it was a bit long. But what in there would you guys say is overly offensive, scarring, awful? Just because as an American, I look at this tweet and I just can't help but think that she's right in all of it. We have more problems to focus here at home. Okay? And getting involved in these extracurricular affairs that frankly is a drain on our resources and potential bloodshed is not just disastrous for other people in other countries, but it's not very beneficial to us here at home. So why would we even get entangled in this? everything she's saying is correct. We have a drug problem. We have a homeless problem. The housing market is a mess. Employment, despite being lower, still is affecting Americans, primarily non-immigrants. I'm sorry, it's the truth. Primarily non-H-1B visa holders, but I'm getting sidetracked. I like what MTG said, and I think she's accurate here. What is Mark's reaction? Marjorie Taylor Greene, shameless nitwit. How incredibly dumb is this Marjorie Taylor Greene? She doesn't know anyone in America who has been a victim of crime or killed by Iran? You mean the thousands of Americans, especially military personnel, killed and maimed by the American terrorist regime? Okay, so he posted this. Again, very harsh reaction. This guy, Casey Allen, wrote, people like you only make anti-Semitism increase, okay? A very potent response to a tweet such as this. Mark Levin responded with, it's in your family's DNA. So. Wild. That's a wild comment. That's a wild comment. I wrote in response, this is a very wild tweet. I was thinking to say weird, but yeah. What do you guys think about that tweet? I mean, what is that? Can someone tell me what that's supposed to mean and why we shouldn't be offended by that? I'm a loss of words. That's kind of weird. If anyone else of any other demographic would have said this to Mark Levin, they would be considered anti-Semitic. But for some reason, it's completely okay. And look, like this Casey guy, Casey Allen, this dude, okay? The host of the Casey Allen show. Am I supposed to know who this is? I don't know who this is. I'm sorry. But anyways, he didn't necessarily make an offensive, like, listen, okay? I'm not going to say whether he's right or wrong. All I'm going to say is that he's making an observation about what I firmly believe, and I agree with him in what I'm seeing here, especially with younger people, is this, like, this reaction that's happening, and you could call it reactionary, you can call it whatever. I'm not gonna like tiptoe around this. Hey Google, check with ChatGPT and tell us about this goober. Anyways, I got distracted by the ADD. But you know, he's not wrong. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. He's not wrong. The fact of the matter is that being constantly pushed into this narrative, how we're supposed to support Israel in all their endeavors as far as Iran is concerned, and multiple other affairs in that region and in that land, and how it's almost like it's not almost, we are expected to constantly get involved. And the very second that someone comes out there who is an elected official, who comes out and says, hey, look, I don't actually want to get involved in this. And she's actually reflecting. Now, say what you want about MTG. I'm not a fan of her, but I will say this. She does seem quite representative of her people, okay? That is her job, and I think she's doing it quite effectively. She is a voice of her people in the state of Georgia, and it shows. And she is representing this sort of like, this pro-American conservative idea and agenda and conceptualization people are craving, especially younger people are craving, the Americanist identity. They want to be a nationalist again. We want nationalism to be widely accepted again. That's why Donald Trump flung into the zeitgeist from the very beginning, okay? So anyways, so the fact of the matter is that we can have people like MTG come out and make these tweets and honestly say things that are common sense. I mean, nothing she said was offensive or off the wall or like crazy. And Mark Levin comes out here and he says she's a shameless nitwit and she's incredibly dumb, you know, just for saying these things. Like, I don't want to get involved in the war because we have more important things to focus on. Yeah, people are going to, especially younger people, I'm sorry to say, but it's true. Younger people are going to be a little PO'd because of that. And for some reason, Mark Levin finds it entirely okay and comfortable enough to come out and say this here in your tweet, saying it's in his family's DNA. I don't know what that means, but that sounds kind of, you know, something like a lot of us wouldn't be able to say. Okay, that's all I'm going to put it there. It sounds kind of weird. And by the way, it's not in his or anyone's DNA. This is a reaction to the political situation. It's a very weird comment. It's a very weird comment. Rojas, the defensive posture to abnormal or corrosive behavior. Yes, Rojas and everyone in the chat that seems to be they all seem to be on the same page. I'm sick and tired of seeing. A lot of us are sick and tired of seeing this has been a thing for many years. Anytime you want to question the mainstream political narrative that comes to Middle Eastern wars, especially a situation like this, if you question it, if you don't want to get involved, it's anti-Semitic. And it's just... Or on the other hand, if she says she wants to focus on issues here at home, she's a shameless nitwit. She's a dumbass. She doesn't know what she's doing. She shouldn't have her position. Very strange behavior. I don't like this at all, and I don't like the neocon industrial complex that has allowed this to foment to the degree it has. Because now listen, I am happy to say to you today that a lot of this is crumbling down. Like I keep saying and I keep pushing this narrative, younger people are becoming more and more aware. We are becoming more and more outspoken against war, against foreign entanglements. We do want to be a nationalist country again. We do want a nationalist sort of spirit, okay? That is the current status of the conservative political zeitgeist. And anyone who says otherwise, I'm willing to say, doesn't know what they're talking about. Are there other tangential movements that are more internationalist? Yes, absolutely. But they are not nearly as effective as what the nationalist sentiment is right now. And that is all thanks to, well, not all thanks, largely thanks to MAGA. That's why MIGA was so weird. You guys know MIGA? MIGA? Now, I wonder if I can find any tweets about this. Thank you for the donation, Rowhouse. And it looks like we have $5 from Fiery Waco. Thank you so much, Fiery Waco. I thought we were waging a war on nuclear enrichment in the Middle East. Does Israel have an enrichment program? Does it go 60% enriched? P.S. What is Leo wearing tonight? A very good question. You guys are going to have to pay for it and unleash the beast to see that. He is locked up in his cage right now.
Monster kill.
Leo is certainly not a neocon. But you're just going to have to unlock it to see, you guys. I can't give it away. I can't give it away. Yeah, I'm seeing the comments on the chat here. Make Iran great again. Okay, that's what I'm referring to. Exactly, Fire Rico. That's a very valid question. If this really was just about Iran and Iran's nuclear deal over there, why are we focusing on all this, right? Now, listen, I do understand, woman's political opinion here. I do understand there is room to say that area obviously very destabilized, very 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 problematic area, and to neutralize it with a westernizing force, if that's the word, because anyone knows me, I'm pro-Western values. America is a Western nation, and I think that dispensing Western principles and Western values is a good thing. And I understand that extreme Islam and that worldview can be dangerous. Having a country generate a destructive, how do I put this in a very tactful way? Letting a country like Iran have a nuke can be dangerous. And I understand that, and I understand that talking point, and I understand Israel's position from that. But at the end of the day, okay, we are Americans and this is America. So listen, I understand the value of stabilizing parts of the world. I understand, and it is for our national security as well. I understand dispensing Western ideology, more Western values and the Western spirit internationally. I'm sorry to say, not everyone's going to adopt it, okay? There are certain cultures out there, there are certain peoples out there, tribes of peoples, that will never adopt various values, or what we would perceive as stabilizing forces or ideologies. Because in our worldview, it may appear destabilizing, in their worldview, it isn't. And as far as national security is concerned, I completely understand the argument. I just don't think we're at that time right now to really get involved in that. And considering, you could say, the sins of our past with America getting involved there and really screwing things up for us and over there, I just don't think right now is the time to get involved with that. We are working on limited resources here. We are having our own invasion in the southern border, okay? We have other things to focus on. Why MTG is completely right here. Dispensing Western values is a good endeavor. It's an understandable endeavor. It's never going to work. You guys heard of yin and yang, okay? I don't mean to trivialize a concept, but what I'm trying to say, and this is going to get a bit philosophical here in a second, but there is going to be this universal dichotomy, the masculine, the feminine, okay? The East versus the West, the Apollonian versus the Dionysian, or what I call the Oresian. But there's always going to be this universal dichotomy that we will never fully, or these two polarities in our reality, in the metaphysical reality, that we will never actually balance together. Or rather, I would say, unite together. We can try to balance the two, but westernizing the entire world and dispensing the internationalist liberal agenda isn't going to work. It's going to facilitate us to a global world order, which I guess you could say is necessary for the second coming. But I don't want the end of the world to happen, okay? And I don't want a global elite or a global world order. I don't want any of that. Listen, I want my country to just be its own country, and universalizing everything and globalizing everything is very, very dangerous, because at that point there's not going to be those two universal forces again, polarized against each other, and that's going to destabilize all of us. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. Good night, Quest Fanning. Thank you for joining today. I see you saying good night in the chat. I'm sorry for going off on a tangent there. I missed your goodbye. Anyway, on Saturday when I found out about this, I thought this was a joke. I thought this was a meme, but apparently make Iran great again was a real thing. So yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm sorry, I got on a tangent. Mark Levin looks like he's about to cry after Trump announced the peace deal. This is from the other day. Iranian officials have confirmed Iran agreed to ceasefire proposed by President Trump. Per Reuters, it's official. That's his reaction there. Oh no, peace! Oh no! Where are we at the Leo count? I think we're at, let me double check. I don't think we made it to $70 unless someone can. Let me play a song. Hold on.
Dancing to the radio, spinning round in the glow. Carried dreams on the wind to see our heroes begin. Which shout will they light the way, with courage shining bright today, holding hands through the fights and fears, together against the tide of years. Remember when the heart stood tall.
We have 45? I just counted chat is saying $45. I see, hold on, 25, 30, 35. I see $35. I don't think I missed, because we have $1 from Fiery Waco, well, $36. $5 from You Entropy, 5 from Quest, 20 from Row House, and then 5 from Fiery Waco. So that's not 45. Are you guys pushing the number when I'm not paying attention? I know I'm blonde. Okay, I'm not good with numbers. Are you guys pushing numbers so you can get your Leo fix? I would understand that. I try to get my Leo fix too. For you, just so you guys know, I don't want to like oversell it or anything, but I will be moving. Like, I'm gonna be living on my own now, so I don't exactly, that's going to happen very soon in the month of July. So I will not be bringing Leo with me because he has his life here with my folks. And he's very used to, Leo has a brother. He's an adopted brother. He's a very skinny Chihuahua. I don't really bring him on because he has like PTSD and, you know, it's a whole mess. But separating them will be just very difficult on Leo's little psyche, however there's left of it. And so Leo will be getting involved a little less with cold trauma. Now, he will still come and visit, and I will try to have him come and visit whenever I'm streaming, because we won't live that far away. We'll live like only 30 or so-ish minutes away from my folks. But I don't want to oversell it, but what I'm saying is we may be seeing a little less of Leo. I'm going to try to find another reason for like a $70 mark, like another big, I don't know. You guys can throw ideas in the chat. Get a Leo cam. Yes, I'm going to have to do that act for real. I actually have to like set that up. I will have to do a Leo cam. But anyways, so there will be a little less of Leo. Of course, I think when I advertise the stream, you guys better follow my Twitter. When I will advertise the stream, I will maybe make a note, Leo's going to be joining us. I may just completely nix the entire, the $70 Leo goal. Where is it? This thing.
Monster kill.
I may remove that because I don't want to have you guys donate for nothing if he's not there that day, you know, but I will, when I bring Leo, I'll advertise it. You guys can come and see him. I'll try to bring him out like once a week if I can, but it's not always going to be promised because, you know, I'll be living somewhere else. But I'll try to make another like finance goal for something else, but while I'm still here, and also there's not going to be a green room. I've had a lot of people complain about the green in the background. I love green, but it's going to be white. It's going to be a white room. So there's going to be some changes in the month of July, most likely. But yeah, I'm just putting that out there because, you know, now was one of your few last chances to actually see him. Yes, Whitey White. He can be my show. I've considered that. I want to bring him in. I can't keep him. That's like, well, it's not that much, but it's like an extra $100 for a pet in that apartment. But the apartment's quite nice. It's very spacious, and it's amazing. It's brand new. I was actually like a miracle find when I was searching for it, and it's brand new and it's actually affordable. Renting is a mess right now, so I've looked at many. I'm sure everyone that was trying to find rentals can appreciate what I'm saying now, or have experienced it. But finding rentals can be kind of difficult, especially depending on the state and the area you live in. But it's brand new. It's in our budget. It's spacious. It's like 900 square feet for us. It has 2-bedroom. You know, it's a really nice. It has a nice view of the town we're in. And I'm very excited, but they do allow pets, and I was considering bringing him, but you guys, I just can't separate him from his brother or my parents. He's very close with my parents as well. I think he's going to miss me too, though. I just came back from LA over the weekend. I was gone for like a couple days, but he was crying when he saw me. Like, he clearly was missing me. So I'm going to miss him. I'm going to have to visit as much as I can while I still live in the general area close to him. Couldn't your parents get a cam at their place and put them on the stream that way? Yeah, I was considering it. They're not... I'll have to talk to them and see what I can do. They're not the best with technology, but I'll talk to them. Of course, we can do like a little Zoom meeting maybe. I don't know. Or I guess we can set up a cam. I'll figure something out. I'm not completely nixing Leo. I can't do that. He's a big part of the show, okay? But, and we still have the pillows here, which I highly recommend you get. But he'll still make appearances. I just can't promise he'll always be available for like as a donation goal. Okay. Speaking of which, speaking of the pillow, I do want to show you guys something very important before we proceed with the last few stories today. I know it's Tuesday, so I can go on for as long as I want, but I did want to show you guys something very, very important. So if you type, just for a second here, just entertain me for 1 second, okay? If you have a separate, like a phone or a computer, iPad, laptop, open it up, type in the URL ap4liberty.shop. I can't type apparently, .com. And if you go here, hang on a second. There we go. Let's have some background music.
Dancing to the radio.
You go to the AP for Liberty shop and you type in the search bar Culturama. Okay, the name of my show, Culturama.
Which shot will
you
they
click
like
on this
the
wood
way?
wheel.
With courage shining bright today,
and look at that.
Holding hands through the fights and fears,
and you will get yourself
together against the tide of years.
42 products.
Remember when the
amazing 42 products. You'll see a banner. You just type in Culturama at the For Liberty shop or AP for Liberty shop. And there you can have the Leo the Beast pillow, limited edition. Get it while you can. We have sweatshirts. We have these logo pillows, the Atomic Blonde pillows. Candles, mugs. I have the mug right here, the Culturama mug. But if you want something delicious to enjoy in the mug, I also highly recommend you guys get the most popular product on the shop. It is a Culturama Atomic Blonde coffee bag. Delicious coffee. I know the summertime is coming. You don't often think of coffee, but it can be enjoyed iced. I prefer my coffee iced, so you can just chill it overnight. Or in just a couple hours. pour that coffee in like a little container, put it in the fridge, bring it out, pour some ice in a mug, and you can just pour that coffee over. It's delicious. I highly recommend it. Purchase it only for $20 as a one-time purchase, or you can make it as a consecutive purchase every few months. So, and I call myself a humble coffee merchant on Instagram, and I might put that in my bio on Twitter as well. So please buy yourself that or anything else in the collection of Culturama. We also have Gulf of Mexico items. We have, what else we got here? We got a little body pillow of me if that's something you're down for, all kinds of neat stuff to support the show. So please consider it. Wonderful stuff. Retrofuturism. We have that Fallout style, highly recommend it. So please check it out. Okay. That was my plug. And I have just a couple more stories left for you guys, unless you guys want me to to cover anything else. I will be talking about Carmelo Anthony and a little bit of an immigration update, so please stay tuned. I will be right back, and I'll get that up for you guys. Thank you for tuning in to Culturama today.
Well, here comes Daniela like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah. Who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have glad you came out, and I'm so happy that you're queer. In the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Hey, Liberty lovers, stop scrolling, because if you're tired of the same old news, then I've got just the wake-up call for you. I want to thank you for tuning in to Culturama, and I know that you're enjoying every minute of it. Join us at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. The Wake Up America show is Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a great way to start your day. Coffee's optional, but waking up is mandatory. Remember, at Wake Up America,
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty's throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep, as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
Golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day.
In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive, in the light of freedom's guide. We got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
In the shadows they stand, with courage so bold, fighting for the land, legends to behold.
Welcome back to Culturama, everyone. Thank you for joining. I apologize for the police sirens, ladies and gentlemen. If you can hear them, if you can't, ignore what I just said. We have... Hold on, how much was it? $20! We have $20 from the one and only Row House. Thank you so much, Row House. You are the, what do the kids say? The greatest of all time, the GOAT. Thank you so much for donating that $20. It is so appreciated. You asked a very good question. Daniela, question about Iran. Is there a chance Russia would step in and help Iran against America, thus changing the situation with Ukraine? That is a very good question, Row House. I see there's some people debating in the chat there about it. What I will say this, I don't know, as far as I'm aware, Russia's tried to maintain positive relations to both Iran and Israel, but I do believe that they have a strategic partnership with Iran, and I certainly can foresee them getting involved with Iran if this continues forward further than it already has. Down the line. Now, granted, Russia's situation right now, especially with Ukraine, is very, very lacking. I don't know if they would even have any resources to work from. So, I can't say with utmost confidence that they would, at least right away, try to get involved. I don't even know to what extent they would be helpful in that situation, but I can certainly see Russia being aligned with Iran as this continues. And so that is certainly a concern of mine as well. And it should be a concern. It should be a concern of ours, considering what Russia is capable of doing, or what they have shown to be capable of doing. And it sort of goes against that. Now, you know, I don't want to like have a conspiracy tard moment here, but considering how opposed Russia is to what one would say ideologically is the liberal world elite. I'm sorry, the liberal, you could say the liberal world elite, or the so-called, what I said earlier, the internationalist liberal order that has been proliferating within the West, and seeing how Russia has been sort of positioning themselves against it, especially when Ukraine tried to get more involved with NATO and so forth. I could see them sort of positioning themselves against Israel and the United States, like I said, if it goes further. Welcome to the chat, Who What? Very good to see you. I see you are very critical of Donald Trump, and we like, you know, people of all stripes and colors here, whether they're orange or not. So thank you for joining Cold Trauma today. It's very good to see you. I don't think I've seen your name here before, so thank you for joining us today. Thank you for the donation, Row House. That is so generous of you, as usual, and I'm very thankful of your donations here. And closer to the Leo goal. So that's still a possibility, everyone. The Leo goal is still possible, to see this dysgenic, deformed freak 4 generations inbred here out in the open. Where are we at with that donation goal? Let me double check here. Okay, 40, 55. We're at 55. Close. We're getting close. 56. Yeah, we're at 56. So remember, guys, it is $70 to unleash the beast. $70. So just something to consider, especially if you won't be around for all that long. Because I'm moving, not because anything's happening to him. He's probably going to live a real long life. Okay. God willing. I wanted to touch on something a little bit different, because this has been in the news today. The Carmelo Anthony case. Carmelo Anthony indicted on first-degree murder charges. Send him away for life, this account writes. Let's take a listen.
Father of Austin Metcalf. We have confirmed.
Hang on. I have to check the OBS if it's okay. The stream deck is going good. I don't know. Okay. Let me know if there's audio issues, as usual.
Confirmed with Collin County authorities that an indictment of first-degree murder has been handed down by a grand jury against Carmelo Anthony. The 17-year-old Frisco high school student has been free on bond since this incident on April 2nd. We are also waiting for reaction or a statement from his attorney and family spokesperson. The father of Austin Metcalf, who was killed, Jeff Metcalf, tells me in a statement he is, quote, just glad that the process is moving forward, and I look forward to the trial now, end quote. We are also expecting a statement from Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis, whose office will prosecute this case. A first-degree murder charge carries with it a possible sentence of 5 up to 99 years or life in prison if convicted.
Damn.
Anthony claims he stabbed Metcalf in self-defense during an altercation that preceded the stabbing. Now, the next step in this legal process is the assigning of a judge who will then set an initial appearance date. And that initial appearance date for Carmelo Anthony could be, I'm told, days, weeks, or even months down the road. And a trial date won't be set before 2026. I'm JD Miles reporting.
This is what we voted for, law and order. Very good to see that he is going to be taking some accountability. Breaking murderer Carmelo Anthony has been indicted by a grand jury for first-degree murder in the failed stabbing of Austin Metcalf. And, you know, for those that don't know, this guy killed this guy. So Austin Metcalf, the white gentleman on the right, was stabbed in the chest by Carmelo Anthony after he had approached him to let Carmelo know that he was sitting on the wrong side of, like on the wrong bleachers. There was 2 sports teams playing, or there was like a track meet or something. Anyways, he wasn't threatening him. This Austin Metcalf, he wasn't threatening him. He wasn't being violent. He, as far as eyewitness accounts and all we have information gathered about this case, he was just letting Carmelo Anthony know that he was sitting in the wrong spot. Things may have gotten a little aggressive and heated. Maybe they like tussled briefly, but I wouldn't. And as far as I'm aware of the information, because you damn well know if Austin was being overly confrontational or overly aggressive, eyewitnesses would have said something. So none of that has occurred. Carmelo responded in the most sane way possible and stabbed him in the chest multiple times until he unfortunately passed away. And thankfully, law and order is still secure. Now, I don't know if you guys were following the case. I talked about it on the show a few times and it was happening. But the Carmelo Anthony family, the way they were responding to all this, selling t-shirts, and it was just, asking for donations and all this. Just a very unsavory. I covered it. You can go back and watch the episodes. It should be in the title and the thumbnail. But it was so, I wouldn't say disrespectful, but I'm going to say it was disrespectful to Austin Metcalf, the way that they reacted to this. So what is this? We have... Hold on, I'm sorry. I know I'm talking about a very dark topic here, but a person died. But I do see donations. So I'm going to read those donations because we got $10 from Nelson65. Nelson, thank you so much for donating to the Culturama crew or cult, whatever you guys want to call it. Thank you so much. You wrote, we will miss Leo. You can always take videos of Leo, and when you get your goal, play them for us like AP does with his bonus content. Very good suggestion, Nelson. I really appreciate that. Something to consider as well. I can make these unlockable content, and I can make them very special for you guys. So that's a very good idea as well. Thank you for the donation. And we also have $20 from Bucks Nasty. Thank you so much, Bucks Nasty. You wrote, Ben Shapiro's sound effect could be Seinfeld saying, I'm a fancy boy. Very good suggestion. I'm going to have to put that one in just for that $20 donation. Thank you so much. Where are we at now? Where are we at? We're originally at 55, 56, right? So we have reached the mark, you guys. You guys, it is finished. It has been done. Pause the case because we have something very special has just happened, everybody.
Monster
We have unlocked the goal. The Leo the Beast goal, everyone. Right back.
Oh, my little chihuahua, you run so fast.
I'm going to bring Leo, everyone. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this, especially if you're new here. You're going to want to see this, everyone. This is a true freak of nature. We don't have circus acts anymore, but circus acts still exist here on this show. So stay tuned. I will bring Leo, everyone, and he's going to be dressed in something special. I'll see what I can find in his wardrobe here. And try to make it a themed, somewhat of a part of the theme of the show, I guess. So everyone stay tuned. Let me play your guys' favorite commercial, and I will be back.
Well, here comes Danny Yellow like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah, who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have glad you came out, and I'm so happy that you're queer. In the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hayford doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Technically it's not a burqa. I think it's a hijab, technically. But anyways, there he is, everyone. What do you think? How does he look? I didn't have a Hasidic Jewish outfit for him, so this was the next best thing. If we're not going to do Israel, we're going to do Iran. What do you guys think? I'm going to play the song one more time.
Oh, my little chihuahua, you run so fast. With your goofy little bark. Always having the blast when you dance on your paws like you're on a spree, chasing your tail. Oh, what joy you bring me, my tiny furry friend. You light up my day in your 1950 style. Let's dance and play.
He looks worthy of a good stoning. Indeed, he's always acting stoned one way or the other. Okay, Leo, and of course, as part of this segment, we have Leo read the rest of the news stories with us today. So here he is in his little hijab or niqab or whatever they call it over there. I think niqab is when they just have the eyes open. But there he is, very nice. So what did Iranian Leo look like before the Islamic Revolution? Well, I'll show you how he looked like. Before the Islamic Revolution, Leo looked like this. In fact, I need a little bikini to put on him. But now, with the Ayatollah, oh, he just passed some gas here. Leo, come on, you're on a show. Well, I guess people can't smell you, so. Now, he looks like this after the Islamic Revolution. Okay, everyone. So, thank you so much for donating to the Leo Goal. It is so appreciated, everyone. Amazing. You guys got it in. And if you want your own dysgenic creature yourself, visit the AP4 Liberty shop to get yourself a Leo the Beast pillow, everybody. And for those that don't know, Leo is 4 generations inbred. He has an extra toe. He's missing a lot of teeth. He has an extremely low IQ, extremely low functional IQ, and it is indeed a miracle that he is with us today. His original owners wanted to drown him. I saved him. And he is loved here with us, but he is a true sign of what happens when dysgenics go awry. So it is sort of like a cautionary tale. But anyways, your guys' comments are insane. Leo is a yappuccino. Indeed, he is, Entropy Nomad. Oh no, his nose is showing. I did see a dono. $2 from Barney Styles. Thank you so much, Barney Styles. You wrote, go to the 4libertyshop.com for all your Liberty Here needs. Use code Barney at checkout for discount. Is that true, Barney? That's amazing if it is. Use code Barney, you guys. Okay, so what's nationality of the host? I am Slavic. What? I am actually Ukrainian. My father is Ukrainian and my mother is Georgian. I do mean the Republic of Georgia, the country of Georgia, not the state of Georgia. And so they both moved here separately into the United States from the Soviet Union before it broke down in 91. And they met here and they had me. But yes, I guess you can hear from the accent. English was not my first language, but it is my primary language now. But I am Ukrainian and Georgian, Slavic, just generally speaking. I did a 23andMe. I did a DNA test, actually, and it's not quite that remarkable. It's very, I'm not like a mutt. Because with Slavic people, you will get that. You will get, what is this? Penis piano playing. The chat is wild today. What was I saying? Oh yes, I did the DNA test and just straight bussin', Ukrainian on one side. My mother has some Mediterranean, but she's mostly just, Georgian. It says, interestingly enough, it said on 23andMe, it said, it didn't say Iranian. It said like it had not Mesopotamia. It had a weird. I need to look it up now. What was it? I have it right here. There's my ancestry. I have the app open right here, so you guys can see. I'm not jerking you guys around. Oh, I have the stream open here on my phone. Well, while it's loading, I'll tell you what it says. I'm opening up the app right now with the DNA test because I'm trying to remember what it said. But here we go. So yeah, okay. So I'm Also, like, it says Iranian, Caucasian, and Mesopotamian. And I was just thinking it's very weird. Iranian, Caucasian, and Mesopotamian. And it hit me, that's Georgia, because Georgia was where the original Caucasians, quote unquote, come from. That's the Caucasus Mountains. But 23andMe calls it Iranian. So very fitting, actually, for today's story. But as far as I'm aware, I'm not actually Iranian or Persian or anything like that. But I am straight Caucasian. That's where my people come from, the Caucasus Mountains. And then as far as my dad's side is concerned, mostly Eastern European. Like it says here, 77% Eastern European, Ukrainian. And then there's like 1% Greek, 1% Finnish, which is not that notable. So, oh, and it says I'm a little bit Anatolian, like 5% Anatolian, which is Turkey. So there you go. Yes, I'm very white, indeed. Oh, no, Firewaco, you're absolutely right. This entire time I did not have the live chat on. This is a pretty funny chat today. Oof, I'm sorry about the finish. Yeah, me too. Because that means I might have some Russian in me, and that's not going to make my father happy. You can tell because you can see her veins. My blood runs blue. I did see we have another donation. Yes. Another donation from Row House. Thank you so much, Row House. It is so appreciated. I appreciate all of you guys, especially those that donate. Thank you so much. Row House wrote, Daniela, I know Jubilee you have to keep secrets, but can you just say your experience in Los Angeles doing the show? I absolutely can, Row House. Yes. So I can't say who the person is that I debated, but I will just say it was a very aggressive individual. I don't mean like intimidating. I mean just his debate rhetoric and style is very aggressive. And I think he's in the Surrounded episodes, he's one of the most aggressive and challenging, I think, individuals to be in the middle of the circle for the Surrounded episodes. And when I did get to the chair and debated him, not everyone ended up debating him. I did. And you guys, I am not happy with my performance. I really am not. I was told afterwards by the people that were involved that I didn't do too bad. I'm just going to have to wait and see. I was not happy with it because I really don't feel like I could get anything in. And he's a very effective debater, but very bad faith. And everyone was getting frustrated. But I did my best, and the episode will just gonna have to, I hope it's come soon. I really want to see it because I was not happy with my performance. I think I could have done better, but again, I try not to beat myself up over it because it was challenging. Anyways, so that was my experience doing that. It was like a 5 to 6 hour shoot. Like I said, not everyone got to debate. It's gonna be a pretty spicy episode. Now, Row House is already saying, "Oh no." I don't know if I was horrible. The thing is, I don't think I was bad or horrible. I think I made good points, but he just kept cutting me off. And it got to a point where like halfway through, because I was letting him speak at first, but I realized if I don't chime in, I'm going to lose my turn. The flag's are going to go up, and, so I had to talk over him, and at some point we were talking over at each other, and I don't know if they're going to cut that out. My time there did not feel very long, but I don't know how much they'll cut out to make me look like I'm inept or something. So if I look exceptionally inept, it's probably also because they cut a lot out, but I did my best. People said I did fine. I asked 5 people after the show because I was paranoid, did I do horrible? But people said I did well. We're just going to have to wait and see. I am very critical of myself. And to answer your question, Row House, what about Sarah and Kai? I don't know if I can say this part. Well, Sarah and Kai did great. Kai did very well, especially. I was happy to meet him in person for the first time. I've talked with him before. Sarah, of course, I had her on her show. I was happy to see her in IRL. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, though. I can't say. One of those people that you listed, Rowhouse, ended up having the second round of debate. Like when they call him the hero, the center person in the surrounded circle gets to pick another person to debate. One of those two people you mentioned, he ended up debating. So that's what I'm going to say. Or maybe not. I don't know. But it was a very good debate. And a very good experience, but it was very extreme. And when I say extreme, I mean, yes, I want to bring Kai on here, actually, Rowhouse, because I want to bring him on as a debate, as a possible debate on the show. I'm not going to say the title of the YouTube video, but they, how do I put this? I don't know if they're going to put everything in, because a lot of the stuff that had transpired that day, there was a lot of like far right people on that episode. I think it's going to be one of the more intense episodes, is what I'm going to say. I think it's going to be one of the more intense episodes. I can't, like, I did sign an NDA, so I don't want to like divulge too much. I don't think I've said anything that would do that here. But it was intense. My experience was good. And Mr. Pig can relax, because I'm not violating any NDA at all, actually. What else was I going to say? Oh, yes. And my experience in LA was really nice. Now, really nice. That's a very... Never mind. I'm going to take all that back. So... I had a great time in LA, but my hotel, so I was in LA once before. Oh, as a kid, I went for like Disneyland and Anaheim, and I was in LA and San Diego when I was a kid. I don't remember much of it. 2 years ago, I went to LA to visit friends, but it was like, and it was like Orange County and then LA, so it was like in the good part of the town or the city. But this time when I went there, I went to like the real LA. You know what I'm saying? I got a cheaper hotel. It wasn't like a really cheap hotel. It was one of the more affordable hotels, because I was only there for a day, like a weekend trip. And I got a more affordable hotel. And when my Uber driver drove me through a part of LA I have never been in before, I had started getting a little panicky, because it was just like the most... I've been in a lot of major cities before. I've been in DC, I've been in Dallas, I've been in parts of Florida, I've been in Georgia, for those that know my personal life quite a bit. I've been in parts of California, I've been in Seattle, you know, I live close to Seattle, and I've been in the slummy parts of Seattle. I've been around. I've been in Middle America, you know, I've been in Portland. Nothing prepared me for what I saw in LA that night. It was the most like ghetto, trashed I've ever seen. And my Uber driver drove through that section. Now, I was getting a little panicky, because I thought there's no way in hell I'm going to exit this Uber by myself to get to my hotel. But he made a turn, and it ended up going in like a better, it got a little better, like it got slightly above, you know, the more dangerous elements of LA, I guess. And granted, it wasn't like the best part of LA I was still in, but I felt safer at least to like walk around. My hotel was fine. It was definitely like a Patel motel, if you know what that is. But they like remodeled it inside, so it was actually quite clean. It was very small, but it was quite clean. Leah, relax. It was quite clean. I had no issues. And yeah, and thankfully it was like 10 minutes away from where the Jubilee studio area was. After that, I had some free time on Sunday, because all of Saturday was filming and prep work for the debate. On Sunday, I had some free time, and because my flight left way later in the day, so, you know, I tried to find mutuals. It was too last minute for a lot of people. I did have one mutual recommend that I go to the Bradbury building, which is a part of downtown LA, and so I took an Uber there. Just my luck, it was closed, so I couldn't go, but I asked a shopkeeper, like, what is there to look in LA? And he told me, well, you're like in LA proper. So I looked around and I ended up looking, they had like a market there. They had like a little trolley bus. I went to what they call the jewelry district. I found out it wasn't that far from Skid Row. So, but a very ethnic experience. I got myself some tongue tacos, which I like tongue, actually, very good. I felt like I was not in America. I really felt like I was in Mexico. There was a lot of anti-Donald Trump signs. I don't know if that was a part that was rioted in, but a lot of like Mexican flag spray painted everywhere. I took a few pictures. I posted them on Twitter. It was a very interesting experience. And that really was a part of Los Angeles that I've never experienced before. Like I said, I've traveled around quite extensively in the United States, never this part. And it was quite enlightening. And I actually enjoyed it. I did it earlier in the day, so I felt safer. I certainly wouldn't have felt safe in the jewelry district. Is apparently like pawn shops. There's like pawn shops and jewelry shops everywhere. Very interesting, because sections of the street was like really downtrodden, and then you'll come across a very expensive lofty restaurant, and then again I'll be downtrodden pawn shops. Leo, are you okay? Are you thirsty, my boy? Can you stay with the they donated to see you, so I want to be polite, and I want you to stay a little longer, okay? At least to read through the Carmelo Anthony part. So what was I saying? So yeah, I overall that pretty much summarized my experience there. I can't divulge too much about the show because, like I said, I did sign a contract. I can't like tell you who the guest was. I can't tell you what the questions were or the claims. So you're just gonna. All I'm gonna say is that it was an aggressive debater. You could even say he was a master debater. Crazy experience. I was so nervous before it, and then when my time came, I was so excited. I did it, and I just felt like I didn't have enough time. And we only had enough for those that did end up going to go only once. So I just wish I would have had. I would do it again. It's a really fun format. I would do it again. But I don't live in Southern California, so. He's hungry, yes. Or if he's thirsty. I'm gonna... Leo, can you behave? Whose show? What? It is the Jubilee show. And you can just find it online. Now, I do hear from the previous guests that have attended, and I've had experience, because I went on the Cut as well. They're based out of Seattle, so I can go there more often. But they do, like, cut a lot of parts. I mean, like I said, it was a 6-hour shoot, so they're going to cut a lot. So I heard they cut parts, they intersplice parts, and I've heard it can be a little deceptive. That's just what I've heard. In my experience on the Cut, that was my experience. They cut out elements of my, because I was on the Button. For those that don't know, it's like a dating show. They cut drastically the amount of time I had with the guests there, and it just didn't paint me in the best light. It wasn't horrible, but they certainly cut and spliced in a lot of footage that I don't think was. I would say it's a little deceptive, but it's show business, I guess, right? They want entertaining material. So that was my experience on the Cut, and I'm glad I had some time to look at LA. I went to LAX shortly afterwards because I was afraid of wait times, but there was really no wait time. LAX is huge, so I looked around the Los Angeles airport, and that was fun. I hope you get your viral moment, Row House. I am glad I went, and I'm actually thankful that I had the experience. I have a feeling that other people will overshadow me in terms of virality, because I'm not going to give anything away, but some of the guests, some of the people there, man, intense. Like, guys, I'm not kidding you. This is going to be one of the most, if not the most surrounded, the most intense surrounded episode yet. I firmly believe that. Some of the guests, and I don't know what casting was previously. I don't know if they had the same intense guests before, and they just cut that out because they don't want like crazy footage in there. I have a feeling they wouldn't do that. They want viewership. But oh boy, this one was like behind the scenes stuff is crazy. I can't say anything. I don't think I can, but you guys will have to wait and see. So anyway, that's my tease for Jubilee. And there's Leo. He's very upset. He's upsetty spaghetti because he was sleeping. He's an old man. He's like almost 10 years old, everyone. Leo, what is your opinion on the Iran-Israel conflict? Beautifully said. He is a wise dog. You're a good boy. I'm gonna miss you, boy. Oh, and a lot of chihuahuas in LA. A lot of chihuahuas. I love that about Los Angeles. A lot of people that I saw walking their dogs there did have chihuahuas. Okay. All right. No groypers, I assume. I don't know. I didn't ask them specifically if they were groypers. I have my suspicions. Okay, I did want to talk about the Carmelo Anthony situation. We're getting sidetracked, but thank you for the question, Rowhouse. When the episode comes out, we're just gonna have to watch it together on Culturama. I just hope they're not gonna take too long. I'm up at night just thinking, how am I gonna look? I don't know how I looked. I'm nervous. I'm a nervous Nelly. I hope it turns out perfectly fine. I think I was fine. People said I was cooking. I don't know if I was cooking. I'm afraid they're just being nice. But meeting Kai and Sarah and others on the set was pretty fun. So anyways, back on Carmelo Anthony. I want to quickly read this. Texas teen Carmelo Anthony indicted in first-degree murder charge and stabbing and death of Austin Metcalf. 4 weeks, my team has been presenting evidence on the grand jury. Today, I summarized that evidence and asked the grand jury to return the first-degree murder indictment against Carmelo Anthony, and which they did. Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis said in a press conference on Tuesday. The case drew outrage after Anthony was freed on a $250,000 bond after the alleged stabbing. Interesting how they framed that there. Living it up with his family in a $900,000 home. Yes, the way that this whole entire situation was treated, including Austin's father's comments, was quite disappointing. A neighbor has said that he even bought a new car after the alleged attack. Still, he had convinced a judge to lower his bond to $1 million, citing financial hardship. And indeed, he has been indicted, being guilty of first-degree murder. This is what we voted for. Here's a TMZ article. Carmelo Anthony charged with first-degree murder over high school track meet stabbing. I like how TMZ put the 3 dots here, like he was charged with first-degree murder in all caps, ... pause. Over a high school track meet stabbing? What? Good night, Grizz Cheese. Thank you for joining Culturama. And Leo says good night too. Thank you. We appreciate you stopping by. I know the show's going a little longer today. I'm trying to have longer streams. I love streaming. And on Tuesdays I can stream longer. Thank you, Grizz Cheese. And please, if you're new here, subscribe and follow Culturama on Rumble. You can also find me on Twitter. Oh, I have dog hair on my lips. You can also find me on Twitter at DC Pensac as well. There it is, at DC Pensac. There's a green profile picture, and it says writer and host of Culturama, so there you go. Anyways, this titling is just really weird to me. Greg Willis announced the news just a minute ago as of this article being written, explaining a grand jury indicted Anthony earlier today. With the indictment, he continued, the case now moves formally into the court system. With this point forward, we'll continue doing our part fully and fairly to pursue justice under the law. A trial schedule will be set by the court. By when the time comes, we will be ready. Oh, where was the, here we go. Let's listen to this one. Anthony faces up to 99 years in prison.
I asked the grand jury to return a first-degree murder indictment against Carmelo Anthony, which they did. With this indictment, the case now moves formally into the court system. From this point forward, we'll continue to...
It's from kissing his forehead. I have dog hair on my lips because I kissed his forehead. Relax, relax. This is not a family show, but we try to keep it appropriate. I kissed his forehead.
Doing our job both fully and fairly to pursue justice under the law. I asked the grand jury to return a first-degree murder indictment against Carmelo Anthony, which they did. With this indictment, the case now moves formally into the court system. From this point forward, we'll continue doing our job both fully and fairly to pursue justice under the law. I asked the grand jury to return a first-degree murder indictment against Carmelo Anthony, which they did.
Okay, it repeated like
with this indictment, the case now moves formally into the court system.
This is what I voted for, and I know this is what you guys voted for. Nothing else to be said here. I just wanted to highlight this. But he is going to be charged, and it's very good to see that. Because like the previous article had stated, the way that his family went about this entire situation was not only disrespectful, it was quite disgusting that a lot of people were willing to sit back and just let it happen. Now, granted, this was a very divisive event, and I think that it has spurred on a lot of conversations about where the justice system is going. Why are we giving preferential treatment to others and not some? Vice versa. And I think that multiple things are at play here. You have the ideological tensions in this country. You have the present administration. I think there's going to be not like a resurgence or a reawakening, but there will be greater attention and greater attention placed on the equal treatment of individuals in law enforcement, specifically, following the George Floyd situation that occurred in 2020 and the effects of what happened there. And this is sort of like a reversal of that, where we are trying to see more of a reasonable treatment of individuals within such processes. Because before, if you guys remember with the whole ACAB situation, that was also going a little haywire. But I'm just spitballing here. And I did want to cover this lastly. ICE arrested 11 Iranian illegals, 1 sniper, 1 linked to Hezbollah, and one a known or suspected terrorist. Let's quickly read these together, huh? Leo, can you stay for one more article, buddy? One more article. The fear that Iran has planted sleeper terror cells or terrorists in the country appears to be well founded. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, ICE, called 11 Iranian illegal aliens during the weekend. One was an army sniper, another the nation's Revolutionary Guard with ties to a terrorist outfit. The third was a terror suspect. Leo, are you a terrorist? The rest were the usual motley crew of thugs and criminals. The arrest not only shows an acute national security peril of the Biden administration's policy of importing millions of illegal aliens without vetting, but also the prescience of those who warned about it but were ignored. Hold on, my arm is taken. Let's open up this tweet and read it out loud together. Or I'll read it with Leo. Over the weekend, ICE arrested 11 Iranian nationals illegally in the United States. The DHS has identified and arrested known or suspected terrorists and violent extremists that illegally entered this country, came in through Biden's fraudulent parole programs or otherwise. We have been saying we are getting the worst of the worst out. And we are. We don't wait until a military operation to execute it. We proactively deliver on President Trump's mandate to secure the homeland. The homeland.
While arresting him in
And that since Sunday, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, of course, has arrested 11 Iranian foreign nationals who officials say are not authorized to be here in the United States, including one man on the known or suspected terrorist list. Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Skanga joins us now with more on the details of this developing story. Nicole, good morning.
Good morning, Tony. The Department of Homeland Security says Yusuf Meridano had been living in the United States illegally for nearly 8 years since U.S. officials determined he lied on a visa application. On Sunday, just 4 months after the Iranian foreign national was added to the U.S.'s known or suspected terrorist list, he was arrested in central Mississippi. He's now in ICE custody pending removal proceedings, and he's not alone. Over the past 48 hours, ICE officials have arrested 11 Iranian nationals spanning 8 states nationwide. Among them, 5 possessed previous criminal convictions. Their crimes ranging from grand larceny to drug and firearm possessions. Also among those apprehended, Ribbar Karimi. While arresting him in northern Alabama, ICE officials say they found his Islamic Republic of Iran Army identification card and allege he served as an Iranian sniper between 2018 and 2021.
There you have it. Live criminals milling about in our country. No thanks to Biden. And we are just now finally addressing this completely. Joe Nelson 65 asked, can Leo hear videos? He seems interested in them. Yeah, he can hear them. I don't know if he'll understand them. I don't know if he understands much, but he does take an interest in moving pictures. I'm gonna let Leo go because I think he's thirsty. He's like wheezing here. I might bring him back, but I know you guys paid for him, but he's kind of hot, so I'm gonna let him out. Give me a second. Okay, Leo, you go get some water. Oh, go get some water. Good job. Okay. Now I shall wear the burqa. Here, I'll put it on. I don't have a Muslim sound effect. I used to have the call to prayer on here, but I removed it. Shame. And here's another clip. Can you assess, this was asked of Homan, can you assess how many Iranians are in the country that are in sleeper cells? Homan responded with, I said the last 4 years, my biggest concern was this open border is that the open border is the biggest national security vulnerability in this country has ever seen. There were over 1,200 nationals of Iran released into the country. Under Joe Biden, we have had over 10 million people cross that border.
We had over 10 million people cross that border, but my biggest concern from...
Can you assess that issue particularly? How many Iranians are in the country that are in sleeper cells trying to do bad to America right now?
Well, look, you and I have talked about this many times. I said the last 4 years, my biggest concern was this open border was the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen. So I pulled numbers this morning just from a CBP under Joe Biden. There was 1,272 nationals of Iran released in the country between OFO and the Border Patrol. And you compare that to the Trump administration, 0. right? 0 releases. And right now, because of President Trump's leadership, we have the most secure border in my lifetime, most secure border in the history of this nation. So we have a secure border. That was President Trump's big win on securing this nation. So we're not releasing people in this country. Special interest aliens aren't crossing that border undetected. But under Joe Biden, we had over 10 million people cross that border. But my biggest concern from day one, beyond the fentanyl, beyond the sex trafficking women and children, were the 2 million known gotaways. Over 2 million people crossed that border. We don't know who they are, where they came from, because they got away, because Border Patrol is so overwhelmed with the humanitarian crisis that Biden created that over 2 million people crossed the border and got away. That is my biggest concern, and that's what created the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen.
And I do want to make this more authentic. Though what I was wearing previous to my niqab here, that was Iran before the Islamic Revolution. Who hired Mushmouth? It's funny. Let's see. Call to prayer, Islam. Now this is after the Islamic Revolution.
هي فرصة ذهبية وفي بلدة
There's always an ad.
مسجد على الإطلاق حتى الآن.
When does it get good?
الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا
Okay, that's enough of that. Don't even get me started on... I need a drink of water, so I need to take it off. Don't even get me started on Islam. Well, you guys, that has been quite the show. We're hitting up to close 3 hours now. I'm getting... The chat is crazy. Maybe it's a good thing it was off today. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm going to have to remember to keep it on. I usually have a live chat on for those that are new. I have it on the sidebar. I forgot to turn it on today, so it's just me on the screen. But what was I talking about? Let me take this off. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not Muslim. Talk about a Reddit religion. It's all true. It is a Reddit religion. The amount of rules you have to live by are crazy. My hair will remain uncovered. This is an American show. Now my hair is all messed up. Now it's all messed up. Okay. Okay. I want to thank you guys for joining Culturama today. I have streaming now for 3 hours, and I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover, unless you guys have any last remaining stories you want me to talk about. I know I didn't talk about everything I wanted to talk about today, but I talked about the usual. I mean, I talked about the stuff that mattered, okay? We talked about Mark Levin. We talked about Israel and Iran. We talked about Carmelo Anthony. And we brought Leo on board today, even though it was briefly. I think it was a pretty good show. Contain yourselves, men! Contain yourselves! The hair has been released. Just the hair. We don't have to unzip our pants or anything. Did you see Vance talking about Trump pushing the red button? No. Do you have a link to that, Nelson? I can quickly address it in the chat. If you drop a link in the chat, I didn't see anything about that. That's a good point. Who what actually? You're going to want, as demographics change, you might want Middle Eastern rules. I mean, yeah, culture runs quite heavily with the original tribe that it was cultivated in. Absolutely. Nope. Facebook reset. Oh, I don't know anything about that, Nelson. I'm sorry. Oh, breaking news from Row House. Let's see, Row House. $2 from Row House. Let's see what this literally just happened. Okay. I don't know what I'm in for. Let's see what's opening. It says I can't reach the page. The link you sent me, Row House, isn't opening. Can you send me another one? What exactly is in this link? This literally just happened. The guy that's proposing government-run grocery stores. I saw something about that. Do you have another Libs of TikTok? Do you have another? Let me try to access it through this laptop. Hold on. Maybe it's just the laptop issue. I'm gonna pin. Oh, okay. I opened it up, Row House. I got it. It was, for some reason, my other laptop wasn't working. Okay, as polls close, socialist Zoran Mamdani's odds skyrocket. I heard a little bit about this. Skyrocket to 99% on Kalshi. It was nice to know you, New York City. Rest in peace. Cuomo, when people are saying defund the police, they are saying they want to see real fundamental change. He says the state is passing an important package of reforms to local mayors, police departments, and must also hear the people. No, we want to defund the police. Straight up, okay? What's this? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Do you believe in the How many more New Yorkers will the Democrat Party? How many more New Yorkers will not charge?
Mental. 99% official projection. Zoran Mamdi wins the New York City's Democratic mayor nominee. Hey, I'm going to have to reiterate this one here. It was nice knowing you, New York City. I never even visited New York City. I still want to, but this is quite unfortunate. I did see the grocery store discourse earlier, which is just completely retarded suggestion. Yes, as we all know, publicly funded groceries have always worked out well, right? But yeah, this guy got through. Nice knowing ya, NYC. This person writes, I didn't cover this guy before, so I know very little of him, but I did see him around. Zoran Mamdani's radical socialist catastrophe versus Trump's bold America First revival, how New York City's far-left nominees, price controls, rent controls, and gender surgery agenda will devastate the city. Yikes. Okay, wait. He's a socialist Democrat, 33 years old, DSA poster child, backed by AOC. No surprise there. Peddles economic ruin, anti-Semitic vitriol, and policies that'll drive New Yorkers out and let crime soar. His 2% millionaire tax and 11.5% corporate tax hike could bleed 10 billion, gutting jobs. Crazy. Businesses and the wealthy will flee to Florida, leaving New York City a ghost town. His free bus and childcare plans are unfunded, risking bankruptcy. He's quite financially illiterate, isn't he? With over 100 billion budget, his anti-Semitism is vile. Mamdani endorsed "globalize the Intifada," a phrase linked to anti-Jewish violence. Crime and illegal immigration will explode. No surprise there. Shockingly, Mamdani supports taxpayer-funded gender-affirming surgeries. No, yeah, not surprising there either. This sounds like a vile creature. I mean, I'm not a New York local, so I can't speak with a lot of bravado about how unfortunate this is, but I will say I do feel for the people of New York. Gone are the days of Giuliani, you know? Yeah, Cuomo's no better either. I knew a little bit about this. I'm surprised he got that, yeah, 99%. Zoran Mamdani wins a New York City Democratic mayor nominee. What? Yikes, guys, look at this. Cuomo literally just drops. Holy crap. Now, talk about stop the steal. What is going on here? Goodbye, New York City. It's over. I bet my friend $8. Wow, $8 whole that Zoran wins because he's watching the news and thinks it's a close race. I mean, apparently not. I don't know much about Kalshi, so I can't speak to how... I can't... Oof, guys. Look at that. Look at those odds. I can't speak to how... I can't speak to how accurate they are, but, you know, if they're going to make this claim, I would say they're at least somewhat accurate. How did he win, Danielle? They have fallen that far. Good question. Immigration, demographic change, potentially. You know, people will typically are inclined to vote for their specific demographic. Whether that's even a religious background, I do wonder the demographic changes of New York City that would cause this, or lead to this. It also could just be, I don't know his campaign strategy. Now, that's where my mind goes to. I'm just speaking off the cuff here. If, potentially, says who what, maybe not potentially. I did not follow his campaign strategy. I didn't follow the campaign at all. So I can't speak to that. And I'm sure he got AOC backing, so that could have helped his case a bit as well. But I don't know too much about it. Would Seattle, Washington vote for a mayor like this? No. Well, no, I don't think so. They would vote for someone with that sentimentality, perhaps. I want to find New York City demo. Am I going to find, like... I'm just curious. What was their demographic changes like? I specifically want to know, like, the religious profile, perhaps even, like, did Islam... Okay, over the past decade, the Zoran guy is Muslim. Am I incorrect? Am I profiling him? Is he Muslim? The chat can maybe let me know. No, is he... Oh no, is he East Indian? Because I saw him with, like, imams in the picture, so... Okay, where's the religion? Where's his religion? Does it have religion? What? Uganda? He is a Shia Muslim. Okay, so I'm not mistaken there. Democratic history of New York City. Oh, there's like different by borough. I don't know if I'm. Okay. Asian. I mean, of course, it's increasing on all fronts here. So. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyways. How about Muslim population? Yeah, the Muslim population in New York City has been growing rapidly, driven by immigration, reproduction, and conversions. Okay, interesting. As of 2016, there were around over 700,000 Muslims in the city, making up about 8%. Is that so? So, what is it now? That was in 2016. It doesn't link to anything. It's just the AI. Muslim contributions. I don't want Muslim contributions to New York City. In 2018, estimated there are over 700,000 Muslims in New York City. Now, yeah, that's the same stat. Approximately 9% of New York City residents are Muslim, constituting 22% of all American Muslims. I wouldn't be surprised if the increase, perhaps, of the modern Muslim population led to this as well. Like I said, people will vote of their own ilk, their own religious background, their own cultural background, obviously. New York Islam population 2025. In 2020, the AI prompt says it's over 750,000. 9%. It's going to say the same thing. Well, and of course, New York City is very multicultural, as we know. But why are we getting socialists on board here, though, is my question. I can't believe Cuomo is that unpopular. That's crazy. This is wild. I don't know if can this be accurate? 99%? I don't know how I feel about this. This doesn't seem kosher. You know what I mean? Like, it's Andrew come over, mashallah. These are comments. Well, I still want to visit New York, but I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. What a crazy news day. I think I'm going to do my outro now. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, Row House. And thank you so much for everyone that has contributed today to Culturama. I highly encourage you to also visit the Culturama shop where I showed you and to tune in this coming Thursday. And I stream, for those that are new, every Tuesday and Thursday starting at 5 p.m. Pacific or 7 p.m. Central Time. And I have a video game stream every Saturday or every Saturday that I can do it. And I don't know what video game I'll play this time around. I will let you guys know. But that being said, it is nuts, Row House. Thank you for saying it's a great show. Yes, Row House, Substack article coming soon. I need to pick that back up, but that will be coming soon. Stay tuned, and thank you for subscribing to my Substack. Now, let me do my outro, and we can call it a wrap. We can wrap it up.
The heart they gather strong, pushing back.
Thank you for everyone that has joined Cold Trauma tonight. I highly appreciate it. If you're new, please consider following and subscribing so we can take back the zeitgeist and the current conversations that we are finding ourselves in. And let's reclaim the conversations and the discourse in this country so we can bring back traditional American values back into the United States and in our current zeitgeist. Everybody, stand steady, stand firm, and let's all fight together against the postmodernist ideologies that permeated every aspect of our culture and also inviting questionable cultures into our country. Thank you for fighting the good fight. God bless you, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. I'll see you on Thursday, everybody.
Golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day.
In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive in the light of freedom's sky. We got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now.